Before I was born, my cousin died of spinal meningitis, who lived just 2 blocks away from my family in Ventura, or from where my family was building their new home. And my sister evidently was exposed by her cousin, and she too had spinal meningitis. And for all apparent signals, had died. She had gone into convulsions. Her eyes rolled back in her head, her jaw locked. She ceased breathing. My mother had been a lifelong Baptist, but on the way to the Baptist church, she was passing by a Pentecostal church where she used to sometimes stop in and enjoyed their services, and didn't make it always to the Baptist church because it was 2 blocks further up the street. And when she saw her little daughter lying there in that rigid position, she knew it was too late for doctors to help, and she went running up the street to this Pentecostal church because she knew that they knew how to really pray. The parsonage was next door to the church, and she went up and rapped on the door, and when the minister came, she held her daughter, and she was hysterical, and she said, my baby, my baby. I need God to heal my baby. And so she laid my sister's stiff body on the floor. And as she was just really hysterically crying out to the Lord, the pastor, Dr. Mitzner, said to her, young lady, get your eyes off of your baby and get your eyes on Jesus. And just begin to worship Jesus and praise the Lord. My father had come in from the pool hall where he spent most of his time. And when my mother wasn't there, they were living in a hotel while their home was being built. The Fosno Hotel there in Ventura. He said to some people in the lobby, have you seen my wife? And a nurse said, yes, Mr. Smith. Your little girl, I think, is dead. And she went running up the street, I think, to the church. And so my dad took off for the church, intending to beat up on the minister and grab his daughter and get her to some competent help. But when he saw her lying there, he realized that she is beyond man's help, and he just fell down on his knees and began to cry out to God. The pastor kept encouraging my mother, get your eyes off of your little girl, get your eyes on the Lord. And she began to turn her eyes upon the Lord, began to worship the Lord, and she said, Lord, if you will just give me my little girl back again, I will give my life to you. I will serve you the rest of my life. I will minister. I will do anything you ask me to do, God. I'll be your servant the rest of my life. But give me my daughter back. And with that, my sister regained consciousness, was instantly healed completely. They took her home, and she was just laughing and just completely well. 2 months later, I was born in the Big Sisters Hospital in Ventura. When the doctors came in and told my mother, you have a baby boy, she closed her eyes and said, Lord, I will fulfill my vow to you through my son. My dad went down the hallway of the hospital saying, "Praise the Lord, it's a boy." And so I grew up in a godly environment. But the importance of getting your eyes off of yourself and on the Lord, how it changes the whole situation.